India is hosting the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers meet in Goa. That's happening between May 4th and 5th. That is today. That is where it started. External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar arrived in Goa to take stock of the preparations ahead of this big meet. Jaishankar, remember, is expected to hold bilateral meets with his Chinese and Russian counterparts. Now, later today, Dr. S Jaishankar will also be hosting a dinner for all the visiting ministers. Now, interestingly, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is also attending the SCO meet. However, a bilateral between India and Pakistan hasn't been confirmed yet. Earlier this week, in response to a question on Zardari's visit, the External Affairs Minister, Mr. S Jaishankar, underlined that India was hosting a multilateral summit, of which Pakistan was also a member. Now, important to note here is that Zardari will be the first Pakistan foreign minister to visit India since December 2011 and the first Pakistan minister to visit India since December 2016. Now, remember, Sartaj Aziz, the de facto foreign minister in the Nawaz Sharif government, visited India in 2016 for the Heart of Asia conference. Now, today's SCO meet also holds significance as it is happening after the alleged assassination attack on Russian President Vladimir Putin, for which the Kremlin has blamed Ukraine. Now, Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, has already landed in Goa, and so has the Pakistan foreign minister, Mr. Zardari. Now, ways to expand overall cooperation, including in areas of trade, investment, and connectivity, will be on the agenda during this meet.
The attempted double drone strike at the Kremlin, 3 a.m. Moscow time on Wednesday, has turned the spotlight on Russia at the SCO Foreign Ministers Council here in Goa. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arrived early Thursday morning. Around 7:25, he was at the venue of the SCO Foreign Ministers Summit, that's the Taj Exotica at Calvado in Goa. Amidst high security, lots of bandobast, he is going to have his first engagement, which is a one-on-one, the official engagement which is listed in his schedule, which is a one-on-one with the Indian Foreign Minister Dr. S Jaishankar at around 3 p.m. Thereafter, he has an interaction with the Chinese Foreign Minister Qinggan, and at around 6:30, he is scheduled to have a one-on-one with the Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto. Now, Russia and what its response will be, someone would want to give, perhaps venture out and hazard a guess that Russia will now undertake a calibrated, increased offensive in Ukraine. But the questions to Sergei Lavrov would be that why is it that Russia believes it was an attempt to assassinate President Vladimir Putin? What is Russia going to do? Is it going to further escalate the war? But are these the questions that Sergei Lavrov actually wants to be asked? The questions that one would want to ask Russia is it now going to be further determined to push the de-dollarization exercise and move, which now, along with politicians, even the business community across various countries around the globe, are seriously considering, saying that they need to get rid of the American dollar terror. Russia has been effectively able to engage with multiple nations. It already has an ongoing arrangement with China. Is it going to encourage? And word is that it also has an engagement with Iran. There is an understanding in the past which it has had with India. Will all these now further bring the SCO nations to come to a mutually agreeable transaction point of view or transaction currency base, which will be beside the dollar? So will SCO nations now slowly start collaborating economically, and will Russia want to champion this? The other aspect that stands out is the cooperation on terrorism, cooperation in trying to provide intelligence. Here, multiple nations within the SCO have their own vested interests and agendas to push, but overall, nobody wants terrorism to emanate from their soil, nor do they want terrorism, acts of terror perpetrated on their soil. Now, as far as connectivity is concerned, Russia, the whole fight with Ukraine and the whole aggression towards Ukraine is to secure access to warm waters, the Sea of Azov and Black Sea, and direct access for Russia. Now, till that is secured, Russia has to look at land routes to trade. There are many nations all across Asia, Central and South, through which can be accessed via land routes. The most important connection that will be provided will be by the Chinese, and that's why the Russia-China proximity is increasingly evident. China, will it use that to try and further extract more cooperation from some of the other nations is important. Can India and Russia connect directly? The market size that India is, the vibrant growing economy that India is, Russia would want to tap into it. So does it have to go halfway around the globe, right through the Pacific, and then come into the Indian Ocean and then finally dock into India? Till the time the Black Sea and access to the Mediterranean and via the Mediterranean into the Arabian Sea, that route is secured. So the other option is land route, and the nations that come into play there, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and of course Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, and then India. So that's the route. So will there be some amount of cooperation among all these nations, SCO nations, that this route needs to be secured, and no matter what the escalation among some of the member nations, irrespective of what bilateral issues, trade should not suffer. Ladies and gentlemen, the entire game today of hegemony or dominance is purely on the basis of economics. Russia is feeling the pinch, but Russia has also decided to stand up, and in spite or despite of sanctions, it is wanting to grow. Why do we think that Iran wants to be an active member of the SCO? There are nations which have suffered under the dollar hegemony, which now want a counter narrative. They want a counter option. They want an alternative option. And there are other countries across the world who have had enough of America's bullying. Now, this is a perspective. India, on the other hand, is neither friends nor enemies with anybody. It has decided that it will mutually engage to further India's interests. And India's interest lies in India becoming a manufacturing and a trade hub, and also working actively and engaging with all these nations. Will this activity, will this attempt be achieved? We are given to understand that the Chinese are totally controlling the Pakistanis, and the Pakistanis will parrot the Chinese line. We also know that the Chinese are very, very patient in whatever their long-term blueprint is, and to achieve that. In the immediate future, the need is for these SCO member nations to cooperate with each other. India, as the chair, is trying to push for economic cooperation, because unless nations are sound economically, they will not have the ability to fight back. After all the conflicts in the world, the root cause is economic dominance. Will Sergei Lavrov be able to steer the conversation towards this aspect? And also on the sidelines, if he does agree to speak with somebody, or if there is a briefing and questions are taken, will the world finally see Russia's point of view in the Russia-Ukraine conflict? Is that the focus of the SCO? Presumably not. But should there be one net takeout? Of course, yes. And it will just get a little more spiced up if, while Lavrov is on Indian soil, there is a massive counter-offensive in Ukraine by Russia. In Goa, this is Anand Narasimhan. Stay tuned.